There you go. Now turn your video on, see if it's working, and then stop. Don't hit end.
Right, or stop, mute it.
Everybody. Oh, sorry, Jeff. Everybody's had a chance to go over the February minutes. Can I get a motion to approve by Barbara, second from Karen, thank you. Okay, I'll go on. I guess all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Sorry.
Well, now, Robert,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, all right, Jeff, let's go on with our monthly business.
Monthly Parks Department update, old business, South Locust Street Park status, the light and some receptacles have been installed under the covered picnic area.
Good.
That project is done. Check.
Check.
Community park status. Basically today at 2 o'clock, we did the bid opening from it. And the current low bidder is Canby Excavation. So that will require a URA meeting to approve that. That's where the funds are coming from, or majority. So more to come on that. I have no update for the swim center. So,
And I haven't heard anything in regards to Eric Leighton was going to meet and have a discussion. I don't know if that's taking place, so no update, yeah.
I think they have met.
Eric's met with the
Scott.
with Scott. Yeah.
Park and
Okay.
Recreation Website Committee.
Well, and that is, what happened is, I guess, Jeff, on the, as far as the budget, you submitted a budget for 1 part-time and 3 full-time employees.
Correct.
Okay, and Ryan's not here to comment on the subcommittee or any subcommittee that we were trying to put together to discuss what we can get on the website, so we'll have to.
I don't
No
know,
update.
he's just running a little late. So
Okay.
maybe you can follow up in a little bit.
Okay, we can swing back around.
Farmers and Gardens, Cecilia Planning Earth Day, April 22nd, 9 a.m. to noon. Request to have signs replaced and park sign installed. We have ordered the metal sign, which when we get it, it'll need to be painted and have the have the logo put on it. At that point, I will get with Lisa and we'll determine the color of the dahlia. Still running into a little bit of a roadblock to do the kiosk sign. So inevitably, we might have to reinvent that sign as far, I have about half the information.
We'll probably need to reinvent it. I don't think you can replicate it
Well, I just can't find any information from 22 years ago.
right here, probably as close as you can get.
Right, but who made the sign,
Yeah.
where did it come from, you know?
And as far as azaleas,
Can we talk about that some more, or is this?
well, yeah, just a second. We'll
Okay.
swing back, but have you been contacting, you have some azaleas at your place that you're gonna donate?
I have 10 so far.
And you've got 10?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. 10 total?
How many did we want? 20 too many?
That's getting up there.
That's what I thought it was too many. I thought 10, 12, maybe 15 tops would be tops.
Yeah.
Basically, my recommendation would be the front part is the most impact part of that place. There's like 3 sections of that. And the middle section, and it has some azaleas in it. And we've also taken that to put a lot of plants and had to dig up through town. And instead of throwing stuff like that away,
In there.
we, staff has just been putting them in there. So it's not the true original plantings. But if we can't get all 10 into the front section, we can move to that area.
And as long as I got 10, if I get 2 more, fine, but
Perfect.
I'm gonna work 10 to be fine.
Okay, that's great, thank you. Jerry?
So just to follow up on this sign that we keep talking about revinyling. And Jeff, tell me if I'm wrong, but we can't find all the information that was on the original sign.
Correct, I have all the verbiage that's there, but there were some pictures that I might be able to pull up of all the azaleas that were in there, and I don't believe all the information is true anymore after 23 years of the variety of stating that's in that garden. So we have the tribute to the Arnesons and a little bit of history. You might want to come up with some other art of it or more pictures of it.
Well, we keep talking about it, but nothing's, how do we move forward on this? That's my question. How does the Parks Advisory want to recommend?
Actually, take some pictures of the new azaleas, the azaleas as they bloom this year, the ones that are there, and one of the nurserymen can
You know that-
identify them.
There's a website, I don't know if it's exclusively, but there's an Artisan Gardens web page that I found. And they have a lot of the history and pictures and that kind of stuff. So we may be able to, with their permission, pull some of that stuff out of there.
Would we like put something together and make a recommendation to council on this, or is this, that's what we keep talking about it. We can make the sign easy. That's the easy part. It's just getting the content that everyone,
Maybe ask.
So I know where his daughter lives, I think, unless they moved. I'll go, she's kind of a hermit, so she hates visitors unless she kind of knows you. So I'll go see if they still live there. If she does, I'll see if she has information. Or she might have pictures of this original sign.
Because I know some pictures were donated to create this.
Yeah. I'll go see her this.
Or used to imprint on, imprint on.
I mean, would this be like comparable to a park naming procedure?
You have a sign there. I mean, if we can replicate the sign that's there, I mean,
That
we're
would be-
not reinventing the wheel.
That would be easy.
Yeah, let's just replicate the sign.
So Scott, you think you can find that information?
I'll go, if she still lives there, I'll go see if she's there.
We just don't want you guys waiting on us if, that
Well,
was.
Artisan is there on the side, it is Artisan Gardens, and
Right.
they're being honored.
It says on the sign that not all of the azaleas that were planted there are pictured. So we may be able to shuffle around what pictures we can get of, at least as long as it's a representation of what was originally planted there. I think that would be at least honoring them. And
So you're talking about a sign that's
Maybe
different
intent.
than all the other signs around? here?
Yeah.
No,
Okay, you're not trying to put things on, Lisa's brilliant.
No, it's on
No.
kiosk.
it's on the sign that's under the kiosk.
It was done so many years ago, Barbara, that
It's
we
faded.
don't have it like in our,
it's got covered with plexiglass and.
It's actually in plexiglass
Is
too.
it?
So that's,
Okay, yeah, a little
Yeah.
tougher. Yeah, it's really faded.
and a lot of that was developed by Graymore and the implementation of the Fred Myers. So to chase down, who put it together.
Right.
There's just not a lot of files on. I luckily found the 2 pages of verbiage with the picture of them and the flowers. And as long as we got those 2 things in there, which are already on the site, I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, I think that web page might help too.
yeah,
And we could even reference it
Yeah,
now,
okay,
in this
Right.
day and age, or even a QR code, when people are walking by with it. Yeah,
oh, that's a good idea.
yeah. to the
That's it.
honestly.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, if Scott talks to Arneson's daughter, and if you have that,
I'm gonna go see her.
I mean, if they have the verbiage, you go over the
She
verbiage.
might have an original picture of the kiosk. I bet she does.
Just let me know real quick, and maybe we could get Shara,
Yeah,
if you work with Scott or with Jeff, I mean. And if the verbiage is there, if we can pull up some pictures
Yeah.
and we can place some pictures on it, let's move forward and get it. The verbiage is the same.
right.
We're not reinventing. the
I
wheel.
think that web page I was impressed with it because it was more, it talked a lot about the history and it was really honoring of the artisans,
they're
whereas.
pioneers in it. so-
Right, yeah, and I mean, you kind of get that sense from the sign, but I kind of feel like the web page did a little better job.
And I might be able to find my missing pieces on that web page
Yeah.
too. I mean, you
Yeah,
never know.
exactly.
Well,
There's a lot of pictures, or
and
there
when
were,
we-
as I recall. It's been a long time.
When we replicate the sign, we should include on the sign the website to go to.
Yeah,
And like you were saying, the QR. code.
So is there anything you want to change? You want to go to the Dahlia, the city seal,
On the big side?
on the one under the kiosk, in the kiosk?
No,
Probably update the city portion.
No,
I don't want to put the Dahlia on the Arneson Garden sign because.
right now we have the city seal and some fancy scrolls. I just gave you a
Just do
chance
that.
to.
well, let's take a look at it and, draw some stuff up. It doesn't, it's not an emergency,
No,
so.
We'd like to have it by the 22nd.
Yeah.
That's why I brought it up.
Yes, we'd like to have it in place. Okay, let's move on.
Auburn Farms. So we've been calling it the Sim Dodd property. We just turned in excuse me. We turned in information to develop a scope of work to develop a personal services agreement with Harper Huff, Peterson and Relias. And at this point, it's went through finance and we're waiting for review from legal to move it on to the PSAs, the personal service agreement.
Okay,
And that's for the engineering, for the planning out,
That
the
would be
plan.
the master plan of the city that Dodd proposed.
Okay,
and it would involve many community engagement.
Yeah.
meetings.
Up
Yeah.
to
2 and 1 with this one,
one with this group,
and 2 with the community. Or neighborhood.
total of 4 meetings.
Okay.
So,
Okay, Jeff, you're not going off of the agenda because we skipped a few items, so.
oh, I'm so sorry.
Parks naming process,
That was on the last council meeting,
the-
wasn't it? Wasn't that on the
But it was
agenda?
It was
on the agenda.
Yeah,
it was.
It'll be on the next agenda.
Okay.
Yep.
The outdoor exercise court,
Jerry, would you like?
so we've had quite a few meetings on that. We've been keeping him up to speed on it, so he knows, but we'll fill you guys in that, the resolution that we were gonna take to council to make an agreement to work with the fitness group on this, doesn't work for the city of Canby. We run through ordinance. And so anyways, we're struggling to get a contract put together on this. So what we've came up with is, we've talked to Westland, Albany, and they ran theirs through CDBG funds and bond funds through, and they paid for part of it out of that in SDCs, but they ran it through a resolution. So they just were able to run it through a resolution and have council use that funding to pay for it. We can't do that. We have to run it through an ordinance. So it's the 2 readings, 30-day waiting period. So they put together a contract for us that we've taken up to finance with the government pricing thing. And what they said is they got to have someone from legal review that. But I think it's more manageable to do this if we separate the concrete and the installation, because it's on some sort of government pricing for the materials and the product, but the installation is not. So we'd have to get 3 quotes for installation. So our plan right now is to try to get it pushed through and into council by ordinance, get the stuff ordered, and then either install ourselves or get 3 bids to have companies install it and do the concrete the same way.
you're looking for legal advice.
Yeah, so right now, our purchasing agent has all the information. She's actually really done a good job reaching out to the other communities, how they've done it, and we gotta have some sort of attorney review this to make sure it's legal before we take it to council. Does that all make sense?
Do we have any sense of cost?
Yes. Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, we budgeted about 180,000 for this project. It was kind of what we considered a turnkey at 155, and then they separate out the they're giving us a discount for separating it out of a tune of like $20,000. But the lowest bid we've got thus far is about 25. And what else was it?
What I'm,
Cement pad?
cement pad and installation was 30, I think, right, or 25 and 25.
30,
There are numbers more. What I'm finding out is I don't know how to say this. without getting
Okay,
in
well,
trouble.
anyway,
But what it is it's a good way to get this, everyone I've talked to loves it.
well,
It says it's a great product, but the way the process is, it makes it hard for us to purchase it. Does that make sense? It's difficult to get it through the way they do it. And so that's what we're working on. But everyone I talk to really likes the product. The Public Works Director at Westland likes it. Albany seems to really love theirs.
So we're just trying to jump through hoops to make sure we've got the right process.
Correct.
Will we be able to, do you think, see it done this year or not?
It depends on how fast we can get it reviewed by an attorney and get it into council. That's what it's all
And
waiting on.
making sure we can. legally do
We
it.
have all our information up to finance department's on their person, now they're waiting for some way to make sure that this is even legally.
does the cost of it and the complication of it get any different? Do you have to go for an outside contractor to do the install?
It would just be, we would use their contractor as one bid and then get 2 other bids, is I think. how we
They
do it.
said they could provide us with 3 of their contractors,
So,
so we could get the quote.
I think we want that, because I remember them talking about that they wouldn't guarantee it if we.
yeah,
Yep.
with some-
and we would like to do that, Lisa, so we get their warranty and like, you know what I mean, And we
Anyway,
don't-
you guys have got some other.
we got other stuff we could be working on for sure, so. The resolution makes it the problem. If it was by ordinance, it'd be simple.
Whatever it is. Anything more? I was moving on to Maple Street Park.
Maple Street Park Committee Engagement Meeting was on March 20th at 6 PM at City Hall. Ashley Sonoff with SSW Consulting. She has a summation and we're waiting for review of the summation from our administration before we turn that over to you folks at this point right now. Just to make insight, to see if there's any other changes we want to make to the summation. Jerry, go ahead and correct me. if you
No,
want to
that's-
add.
Kind of where we're waiting. They emailed it back to all the team that worked on that and kind of like Scott Archer to take a look at it and make sure he's good with it before we share it.
It's,
I have a comment to make about that meeting.
go ahead.
It was a remarkable group of people in the room. I kind of expected there'd be a battle about lights getting into their yards, et cetera. Lighting didn't even come up in the questions until about 5th. So I made a list of what they did talk with the attendees, but we talked about parking and now having a park in the park, et cetera. A lot of that. And then they talked about, and then there was a fair amount of conversation about the freeway of Maple Street and the territorial and Maple Street traffic. And then the lighting subject came up and without much conflict, except for the expert who was there, seemed to calm everybody down and say, oh, we've got this kind of light, this is not your orange globe. And then it was talk about the questions about safety at the street for little kids who are running around the park. And are they gonna be safe from not running out on the street in front of all this other traffic? And then there was a discussion about artificial turf and that it can be dangerous. You can get hurt on artificial turf and then they talked about it has to be replaced periodically. I think there was more airtime for the artificial turf than there was for lighting by a lot. And then there's a little bit of talk about the surrounding residents. Oh, and there were 1 or 2 of them were worried about the game people hanging on after the game. I mean, presumably they think they're gonna have all night, drinking around the ball field. And then there was some talk about the walking path and that we have a lot more traffic on the walking path. And would there be, one of my, I mean, it didn't say anything, but it seems to me that if the parking gets to be a real problem, we're gonna have a battle between the ball fields and the pickleball courts. But it was And then there was some discussion about the long-term maintenance costs and some expert opinions about long-term, for either of you who work there for long-term maintenance.
I think the meeting was
It was good,
very well attended.
yeah.
And it was really good. I didn't think there were a lot of negatives at that meeting. I thought there were a lot of positives. I think what I hope to see is that we get approval to share that document that Ashley Sana put together. And then when we get that approval, we'll send it out to everybody to go over. And then we schedule a separate meeting to talk about the findings of Maple Street and where we want to go. Prioritize those things that we want to see move forward. So we might need to know if we can do it on our April meeting. We could maybe set aside and have it at our regular time, which is going to be April 18th. We could, if we get it before that though, and we want to have a special session, a special meeting, we can certainly set that up and discuss the findings by the consultant and talk about it.
Well, I think two pieces of that, when we get a consultant's report, we might want to simplify it and make it adaptable as sort of a public. Because the information we send out makes it look good for our citizens and everybody gets excited about it. And that we not just release a consultant's report, but we find information.
Yeah, well, it's just going to go to this group.
Well, yeah, I know, but I think some publicity or some outreach about it before all of a sudden everything goes.
Yeah, after we prioritize.
For some of these things they were worried about, we might want to have a chat about what to do to minimize how we're gonna handle parking, but all of that can happen later.
I think a work session on this with this group would be.
Yeah.
Yes. But
And not take up the whole regular meeting.
I would like to have the approval to have that information shared before we have the work session.
Absolutely, and we know the time schedule, so we'll see and wait when Scott responds to it, because it looked really good to me.
Yeah.
So it was.
Barry, I'd like to compliment the committee. Pretty much all the committee members were there. But Jeff and Jerry and yourself and even Ryan stepped up there for a little while.
Yeah,
too.
you did.
But it was a good team approach as far as answering all the questions. So nice job.
Thanks. Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ryan got kind of put on the spot, but yeah, a little bit. Sorry about that.
No, I think it's fine.
I love it.
I know a little bit to be dangerous, and I think if people can have that information. I thought that a lot of the stuff that people were concerned about, if you have turf or not turf, you have the same. I mean, it doesn't really, you're not gonna add a ton more people by putting turf down, because you can only have 4 teams that, going at a time.
Yeah,
So like, it's not like traffic's gonna be overflowing now because you have turf. So some of this stuff was basically Maple Street Park issues and not necessarily the redesign or whatever we're thinking about doing.
There was a quick piece of discussion about the long-term maintenance of turf and the expensive cost of having turf that has to be maintained periodically. But all of those are overcomable.
we'll try to get that squared away on our end as soon as we can, and then we'll let you know, Barry, and maybe you can schedule a meeting for.
I'll schedule, based accordingly what I get from you guys, and when we get the okay, then I'll set up a special session.
It all looked really good to me, even the part where I got a lot of credit for what Jeff did, so. It was nice there, so, yeah.
My director, I'm here to support.
Was it Rhonda that did the door hangers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rhonda, and
They
then
did a
thank
nice job on those.
Lisa and Jim for hanging them out for us.
Yeah.
We didn't even have to go put the door hangers out. So thanks
But
for
she
doing that.
she did a nice job on those.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really nice.
Turned out good.
Wasn't
Yeah,
easy.
fit on the doors really well. Yeah.
We could help.
Sure. Sorry, just look for that.
Okay, you already talked about Auburn, right, Jeff?
Sorry about that. I don't know why I skipped right to that. Arts in the Park, update on this initial scavenger hunt and next steps. So regarding next steps, Kara and I have a date to go out and hide another piece of art. And Jamie Stickle has started the process of the public, putting it out on the web or the, whatever we're gonna put it out on. And I think Kara's gonna follow suit with the Friends of the Canby Parks. We're gonna get that media coverage out there. So I'm trying to say, yeah. So we're moving on to the next one. Unless we have an update on the last one.
Well, Kara, oh, shit. Go ahead.
So, the last one, there was a gal that found it, but she didn't have a place to put it, so she left it in place.
That's cool.
But she posted, which
Yep.
was super cool. And I think it kind of revved up the excitement about it, because then within 24 hours, somebody else found it and this time kept it. And I'm working on the rest of the story, because it turns out that the person that found it is a neighbor of my daughter's, and she put it in a pot on her front porch. And so I asked my daughter if she would ask her if she could take a picture of it and give it to me, or if she would post it and say where it ended up and all of that. I just thought that would be kind of wrapping it all up. So I'm working on that, but my daughter's out of town this week for spring break, but hopefully when she gets back, we can figure that out. But anyway, I thought that'd be fun.
You also mentioned when you came in today that you began the process on the
Yes.
new one,
Yes,
created a little buzz
Yeah.
on your.
I
Friends of
did,
Canby
I
House.
did, and it, last time I looked, it had been seen by over 200 people, and Lisa shared it, and, I shared it to Canby Now, and then somebody commented on it that she was very excited about getting started on the hunt, so hopefully there's a little buzz out there.
Tell us about the dynamics of the first one. Was it buried? How did it get hidden and how big was the object?
Well, it was the one that was the 3 or 4
Oh,
pieces
yeah.
of stained glass that stood up
Yeah.
and poked into the ground. And we went and hid it in the middle of Echo Park. And Jeff actually found the perfect location. We wanted to hide it somewhere from that belt, because that was one of our clues. But then Jeff had found this one perfect spot, and but the gal said, I can't remember, I've even told you this, but told my daughter that she found it because she followed the trail from us walking in, but it wasn't us walking in, it was a wildlife trail. It was a game trail, it was not us.
So the deer found it.
And so the deer found it first, but we walked in
But they didn't have a
easily
phone to
because
take the
of the
picture.
trail too. But she actually started looking for trails to see where people maybe had been walking. And that's how she found it, the second gal. So
That is what you consider the belt of the.
Yeah.
Correct, okay.
Yeah.
Just make sure.
we did it.
Yeah.
So I think it was perfect.
And we came up with our set of clues for
Yeah.
for the
Yeah, number
April
2,
one.
yep.
The only bad thing is we can't share the rest of the clues, because there was some effort put in those, and they were pretty cool.
I know, the one that keeps going through my mind is if you're standing on the belt of the 8, you're in the right park and doing great. And I really wanted to share that. It was a perfect clue.
I guess you could publish the other clues.
I
just-
thought about that too.
I don't know why we couldn't.
Yeah.
After the next one gets down, maybe we can do
The rest of the
our
clues.
with it.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a
Maybe-
good idea.
maybe that'll help people get an idea, a sense of how we kind of come up with the clues that and when we do the first clue, we're always trying to just kind of get them in the right vicinity, maybe narrow it down to 2 or 3 different parks. And then we're just kind of trying to narrow it down from there. So anyway,
Yeah.
The other thing I think that Kara should mention is that leading up to this, we were gonna put them on the city website, the clues were going on there. Jamie put it in the paper or
Instagram.
Instagram or whatever, but Kara runs Friends of Canby Parks. And when she started this, she had how many members? And then once we started publishing the Arts in the Park, you grew.
yeah,
You
we
doubled.
made 100 people. So we had over almost 200 when we started. Is that right? And now, yeah, And
You're almost 400.
we're almost
Yeah.
400 now.
Really?
So, yeah,
Amazing.
just from this. So it's a pretty, I mean, I think people are really liking it. There was a lot of really great comments and stuff. So it's just fun. It's
Yeah.
creating a buzz.
I
So,
need to do that,
what?
be friends on that.
Yeah,
figure
it's
that
not yet.
No, I don't understand.
You have to be a
Facebook.
Join the
I-
club.
Okay.
Come on, man.
I figured it out, you can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's fun. though.
Normal life.
There's a lot of people are liking it.
He's
So,
Okay, Arts in the Park, moving on this weekend.
Uh,
So,
yeah,
Dog park, council recommends staff to vet 3 or 4 alternate locations.
well, there we are. We're waiting for.
holding pattern.
We're waiting for your.
So,
Go right ahead.
so we got direction from Scott Archer to ask the consultant that we're using for
Send the dog.
Ascendant Dodge property to go and do a just
level
go
look.
high level look at the Canby to see if there's spots for a dog park.
Use the consultant that's doing.
Get a contract,
Send the dog.
Ascendant Dodge property, sorry, I had to, yeah. To
At
do a high
that
level.
property or around
No.
the city? Oh, around the city.
Look at the city, pick out
Okay.
some spots, see if there's anything that works.
Okay.
And where we're at is, we kind of want to wait till we get this first contract going before we start another one. And so we're all we're gonna wait and get that approved, and then we're gonna start the next one, and it should go pretty smooth. So,
We didn't want to ask them for any more until we get done with the first thing we're asking. them
And
to
make
do.
sure we like their work.
that's kind of what they talked a good game, they sounded really good, but you never know until you start seeing them, so.
That's so funny, because I thought earlier when we were talking about, put it down as the Simnett Dog Park, but it was Simnett Dog.
Dodge.
I'm like, well, where's it
Yeah.
going? Then you said that, like.
They actually brought it up like this. Well, look at this place.
Well, originally, the Simnet Park was going to be the dog park originally.
Is that right?
Oh, was
And
it?
then the neighbors got all upset. They said they wanted something for their kids.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, I kept living there.
No.
But yeah, once we get that contract locked in for that capital plan for Senate Dodds Park, then we're gonna try to get going on the.
Why, I mean, okay, why do you think that an outside contractor would have a better idea than you guys who know every park around and every blank piece of land?
It was the direction of our city administrator.
He's a park guy. He has a long history, the administrator has a long history with dog park, so within.
Well, I don't know, I'm a penny pincher till it screams, and I
Yeah,
just
we are.
feel like.
We haven't entered in any contract or done anything yet,
Yes.
so we will always take the recommendations of the Parks Advisory Committee, so.
Right,
If you guys got something you think that would work better, we're all ears.
Jerry and I took a walk through what is the one? on
And work with
Redwood?
Barry.
Don't bring that one up,
Yeah, no, I know.
19th Avenue loop.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, don't bring that one.
Well, it really surprised me that there's there a pathway that goes right out to Territorial from the edge of that park. So.
I like it, Barbara. No, I do.
I love
I
that
took you
property.
down there, you and Barry,
I
and
like
Barry
that
told
property.
everyone we were gonna build a dog park there.
That would be a great.
I didn't say we were building, I said we were looking at it. but
Yeah,
I think it would be a great dog park too. I think
Yeah.
it's,
so I could have a lot of fun. And
Ryan started getting a lot of phone calls after I made that fence, so.
Down there in 19th
Well,
Loop.
people were
It's a little-
raising
Leave our
the
city
bar.
shops, head down
Oh
Redwood.
my God.
Not my-
I wanted parking on Territorial, one way in,
Yeah.
walking path back there to a dog, and then a one way out, so you're not
Beautiful
crossing.
little pathway.
I mean, all the utilities are there. I
But
mean.
Right now, our direction is to
Yes.
get a contract with the
Just
consultant.
be sure Scott knows that that little hidden thing is there.
I agree with you, these guys know the city as well as
Yeah.
anybody.
That's so nice of you
And I-
guys to hear.
Well,
That
it's
is-
true.
yeah.
And I don't know
appreciate
how
that.
much do you have any ballpark idea about how much we would be spending to ask somebody else to look at all the information that you already know?
Well, I would say that,
No.
I would say probably that HHPR, I don't know, probably 10 grand.
The committee that I worked on, I think 7 years ago on dog park.
Anyways, depending on how 30,000 foot level, like the contract for the master plan is
35,000.
35,000 for a floor. for just the Sidnet dog property. So just do a high level review of dog park
I
area.
mean, I can think of a lot of things we could do with $10,000.
But the thing is, they can look at a piece of property, and they can see what, they know what they can put on it.
Yeah. Does it meet the criteria? of the dog
Exactly.
park?
So that helps right out.
So
We
I
have
will
the
tell you,
criteria from the master parks plan. That it was published with that.
Here's
plan.
my thing, we scrapped that dog park, and we had meetings about the dog park, and then when it got scrapped, how many dog people complained? 0.
It's dropped.
I will give you an anecdote, which I think was 7 or 8 years ago that I chaired the dog park committee, which went down along with the then administrator of the city who got fired and the cop that was drugged, et cetera. So, now, but we toured about 7 parks, we, the committee, toured 9 dog parks around. And they had nothing in common. It was everything from one dusty little thing in the middle of traffic, et cetera. There was one, which is the Lake Oswego Small Dog Park, is very expensive and it has agility stuff. So we concluded that dog parks really ought to be what your community wants, and that there's no one way to have a dog park that fits the community. So that's my theory of the matter.
The one thing about the HHR or whatever.
HHPR,
HHPR, the guy that is doing their work lives in Camden.
he's your neighbor. Carol.
Mine,
Mhm.
who is it?
He lives on, just down from Clint Coleman
Oh, I don't know.
on Vine.
Oh, on Vine.
Oh, so
He's
that's
around.
her.
He's
yeah.
around.
You're
I'm in Will.
Yeah,
Between us. our
Yeah,
neighborhoods.
okay, yeah.
So, I
more
mean,
closer.
he's familiar with the neighborhood. I mean, he's excited or whatever.
Well, I mean, I'm
I mean,
glad he's excited,
when
but
you
I
send
just,
that dog.
oh,
We-
yes,
We
that,
wanted to,
good. Oh, I'm excited about that one too.
Yeah.
Me
we
too.
just wanna, I don't wanna cram too much into this consultant, because I know the Semnet property is important to everyone.
Yeah.
Well, we'd like to have some more conversations about the dog park. When we get that contract going, I mean, we're gonna go up that, but it's just, it's in the budget, it's in the CIP, it's there, we can work on it as we want,
Sure.
so.
And they're gonna bring us back 3 renditions of what could actually fit in there too. With this master plan.
Yeah, for the Semnet property, but that's kind of where we would like to get, that's a priority for Jack, we're excited to get working on that.
I am too. I think that's gonna be so great for those folks.
Yeah, the dog park, I'm not taking anything away from that either, but,
Whatever it's ready, it's ready.
Does everybody, remember that thing we went over and Scott tweaked it and brought out, it's a list of the things we can do and can't do and when we should do them, when we shouldn't do them. We should bring that every meeting because Jim said the same thing and now the way things are going, we really need to follow that.
the capital
We
improvement
can't,
plan.
yeah,
Yeah.
we can't go off on.
And that's
side
why Scott Dog Park is still on there.
Yeah.
And, so, yeah, that's good, because
stuff.
we can't really use SDCs unless it's on there, Scott.
Yeah.
We can't fund it, we'd have to use general fund or something.
Which reminds me, I was looking through all the paperwork, I found 3 different CIPs that were issued at different times, I guess. None of them have a date on them, and I had no idea what the most current CIP. is.
There's one,
Can you please?
yes, and it's approved, and it's not the one that he's got, I think.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I just want to clarify what's going on, is we had a CIP adopted by council 3 months ago.
Yeah.
That's the one we can work on now. This one is the one that you guys have all worked on that we'll be able to work off of July 1. It'll be adopted by council. Does that make sense?
Yes, but would you please date them and make sure we all have copies of it properly dated and authorized?
So what do you want the original one? The one that's adopted right now?
We want send me the one that's adopted right now.
Yeah.
And then put a date on it. And then send me this one that's.
Is going to be
that's
adopted.
Going to be.
Okay, so we've submitted the new
And
one.
write on them, when you send them out to us,
What
right
you
on
got
which is
will
which.
be the new.
Yeah,
Right.
Jeff and I, we got your guys' kind of recommendation on that. We didn't have time to come to another meeting. So
Right.
we have submitted that
This one.
to Scott Archer, the new one. Yeah, but we'll send you both
Label.
label.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
And then you're gonna distribute.
Big differences between the two?
No, but it updates it.
Timelines.
It's timelines. It just moves the timelines and Ryan, you've seen the new one at one of our meetings, but I don't remember I'd have to look what the difference, there's not major differences. It just it puts Maple,
Changes priority of when we start on flight.
yeah,
I guess. my
And it doesn't go
concern
back
is
to the master plan.
If
or
it
your
starts in
priority.
July, not too into this one, if it's only got a couple months left, we don't know how
That's
far,
fine.
how much work is gonna get done in this next couple months.
it's the old one is irrelevant. We're not doing any work on the old one. It's the new one that we want to focus on and make sure it gets adopted by council, if we like it. But right now, if there's a big red flag, now's the time to let us know.
For the next 3.
So Barry, we'll send those to you dated and you can send them out to the group. Okay.
I can do that, right? I can send them out.
So,
I don't need.
so
Right, draft.
you can send them out
He
because
doesn't.
the second one that's not adopted yet, you guys all approved in this meeting, so we can share both of those. One of them's approved by council and adopted. The other one, you guys have sent as a recommendation to council to adopt after July 1.
And the budget committee is gonna have.
And
to-
like budget committee, which we got 3 of them in here, 2 budget committee people are gonna have to approve that.
Not me.
I think it's Scotland's. No pressure. Kara,
If we have a meeting.
Kara, you're not.
Okay.
If we don't.
We're done with that
People
portion.
on Budget committee.
Dog park, moving on.
All right, Barry. New business. All State Oregon Youth Soccer Association presentation.
No report, waiting for
So Maple Street.
waiting for update from.
You're doing good tonight.
I like that. That's good.
Maple Street Park Community Engagement Meeting.
Well, you know, I said,
Already did that.
yeah, we already,
What's going on?
we already
down there?
did that part. the
Gotta go back to
Maple Street
Ryan.
part, But we need to go back and ask Ryan if we have anything on the Parks and Recreation website. Has there been any more discussion or are we?
No, I mean, when we talked about it a few meetings ago, it sounded like you guys didn't want me to do the interim one. And I was hearing that you wanted to gear up to do a subcommittee to manage what you wanted on a more robust recreation related website.
Well, I think we'd like to talk about what we can do or what's available for us. And
Well, Step one has got to be, let's figure out what it is we want it to do. And that's when we were talking about 2 or 3 people just sitting down and trying to figure out what do we want website to cover. and-
well, we'll have 2 or 3 people to do that. We can't do it without
Correct.
city staff. And I don't know who that city staff, is that gonna be you, Ryan? I mean, do we set up a meeting and talk about what we wanna see? Or what is available to see? Do we do that? Do we handle it that way, or how do we go about it? Because we have people that have stepped up and volunteered to be a part of this.
Right. Well, I mean, the biggest decision is, do you want something that has all the scheduling and stuff like that? Because then we need to engage our current website provider for the whole ecosystem of city websites, because that's where that capability would be. If it's just gonna be something that connects people to information, then that would be something staff would do.
But that's precisely the set of questions that the group of 3 can discuss and say, we could have a huge website that is very expensive to do and blah, blah, blah. We could have a limited website that just offers general simple guidance. It's just getting a handle on what is it we want the website to be responsible for. And the biggest single question is whether scheduling for city properties is or is not something we want on a website.
I think that's, the first step would be
So let's do that.
to get the subcommittee together with, I guess, you and talk about what we would.
Yep.
How we want to go about that. Do we want to?
What are the options?
What are the steps? What are the options?
We'll make that happen.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So we are budgeting for someone to help us with this.
You did.
Is that something we should account for? I mean, we're putting in the budget for someone to help with this. Right?
Well,
So do we want to,
Not in that, not in that early step, just let her get started first and then. decide. Then we can.
so we
decide.
want to have something before we hire this person?
Yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
could have those discussions ahead of time, and then if we hire that person, then that person can take
Okay.
over from there and build, but, I mean, I think we should be having some discussions about what we really want to see and how do we want to draw it in.
And what's our sense of what the community wants and needs?
Yeah.
That's
Is
a
that-
conversation.
We gotta build the egg before we hire the chicken.
Yep. Okay.
So it'd be-
Okay.
You can quote me on that.
So I'm processing.
Have you solved the question of which comes first?
Yeah, so I'm still processing.
Did you hear that, Vegas?
No, I just made that up.
Okay.
Straight off the cuff.
Are we good there for now? You got enough?
Yeah, clear,
No.
crystal
But
clear.
I'm not sure on how this.
Everything
is gonna get.
together around here.
Barbara.
Yes, we are.
Ryan, who's
We're
gonna
doing
make
a long time.
Ryan Oliver,
Okay.
myself, I think Barbara was gonna be on. and probably
Terry,
should be.
Terry,
Oh, no, Terry Jones.
she has a lot of programming.
Yeah.
And programming, the question of what role programming plays is a big one.
We'll talk. Maybe, one thing we glossed over quickly, and I don't know if you might have some additional information, but Malala State Park, Oregon Youth Soccer Association, nothing. Okay. All right. Okay. They were teed up, ready to do a presentation. I mean, the Oregon Youth Soccer Group, they're ready to address the city. So that's where we're at.
And its relationship to this committee is, I mean, understand, tell me what's going on with Oregon Youth Soccer Group.
Well, they have proposed a recreation complex for Canby. They have kind of focused on Canby, and they're looking at maybe Malala State Park. And Malala State Park is being, I mean, they want to turn over the operation of the park to the city of Canby. If the city of Canby wants to go into, if it's for sale, if they want to, I don't, there's a lot of discussion. It's over now. They would like to put a recreation complex at Malala State
So
Park.
it's not just a soccer field, which is what I was saying.
It's a multiplex. It's baseball, softball, soccer. Well, I mean, they're willing to work on the boat ramp. It could be boating, it could be,
No business.
park.
And they want to charge a fee for use of.
I don't know what they want to do. They
No, we,
offer to work in conjunction with city of Kansas. Where we're at is city. of Kansas.
Everybody wants to work with us. We're so good.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
So, where are we now? Jeff, you're done. City staff, Ryan, do you have anything that you want to give to us? Jim, do you have anything you want to give to us?
No, just keep up the good work, I mean, Lisa's minutes are great. I appreciate, I take things to Scott Archer right away and he follows up on them pretty quickly and I try to get that information back to Barry or to the committee. But you guys are doing some great work with all the projects that are going on, so just keep plugging ahead and let's get the projects, let's keep moving.
I'm really sorry that the Zags didn't win them.
Don't even talk about it.
No, I was crying about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're wearing the shirt.
Get well up right in the middle of the
Barbara, you
meeting.
need to put a downer on the game there. Geez. You all right, Jeff?
Kicking guy, yeah.
Down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, nobody said anything about the Spartans. Come on, Michigan State. That was All right, citizen input. Andrew, you don't have anything right now, but there are things.
There are things in the works. I will say that.
What
Okay.
things are in the works?
I will say there are things in the works. That's all I got right
Oh, I see.
now. I'll make sure I get down in the minutes when we put this time.
Bruce Parker, you have anything?
I have nothing. I sent Jen a note earlier today. No report.
Great, thank you. Terry, I see Terry Jones. up there. Hi, Terry. You didn't have anything for us tonight?
I do not have any reports for you this evening. I would like to be on that subcommittee for the website though, if that's happening.
You will. And you were at the meeting, the Maple Street, and you live on Maple Street Park, basically. So how did you, what was your feeling in regards to the meeting?
I felt like it was really positive. I agree there wasn't a lot of focus on the turf and lighting, but it was still a productive meeting. I think everybody felt heard.
Yes. Well, that's great. I mean, I have nothing more if there's no other comments.
So as far as Stafford, I did see the story today that commissioners. And in the works. How about Frankie's already in the works?
Yeah, sorry, spill the beans.
We ran into John Morgan the other day, getting a book,
Yeah.
library book, so,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
he told us the same thing.
yeah, well, you can find out, if you get on the Facebook, you can find it. There's your goal, and then you can like.
That's
Yeah.
the first thing, and then I'm gonna
Join
text you and ask you,
us.
what did you say about the chicken and the egg
Ah.
again? Build the egg. Build the egg.
Build the egg, and then you
Okay.
hire the chicken.
Oh, there we go. All right,
Did you put that in the
So-
minutes?
So in
It's
the
recorded.
spirit of Robert's Rules of Order, I will say, I move adjournment of the meeting.
okay.
I second.
And Barbara first,
Pardon me.
or Kara
You
second.
better be good at this.
Motion to adjourn, so all in favor, say aye. Aye. Let's go. Motion approved. Now, the next meeting, April 18th
Here.
at 6:30. Can we go back to,
Wherever you guys want, it's just, I've been trying to get this back up here, because I love this building, but if you guys like Public Works better, so we have the two TVs.
let's do it here.
Okay, your call.
Okay.
Jeff's gonna have to learn.
Yeah, a new system here.
It's good for change.
Yes,
Right.
there we go.
Good practice.
Yeah, all right.
But you guys decide where you like it better, because this room seems to work good.
We're coming back here.
We'll try to have the doors unlocked.
So you
Yeah, the
take
work
the
your
door.
way.
Huh?
Do you have to force your
Stop
way
it. We said one of them.
You let me know when you've got,
We're done.
we're done.
See you, Terry.
Thank
Good,
you.
everybody. Yeah.
See you, Bruce.
Right.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in? Who's the
Carol.
So
We use that down there.
Yeah.
And then we had to figure out how to get on.
It's not, you're sure.
100%.
Okay.
You got it. If you saw where it was, you.
Okay, he's, I mean, he just